In this documentary, we look at the evolution of the Majalis education in the Gambia and the impact of the integration of the teaching of basic literacy and numeracy in the Majalis curriculum through a conditional caste transfer program by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Majlis is a traditional Islamic education system in the Gambia, commonly called Dara, and is said to have existed in the Gambia for many centuries. But until recently, much is not known about them, except that they exist.
Majalis education is an education system almost parallel to the conventional system and the madrasa, because Majalis education actually is a boarding type which is traditional, and at the same time the welfare of the learners, that's the students, we call them talibes, lies entirely on the Marabu, and the Marabu is the scholar who is the head of that institution. So the Marabu will teach them the Holy Quran and also other Islamic practices and other religious worship, forms of worship, and etc.
Unlike the madrasas and the Quranic memorization centers called Tafis, the Majlis is a different form of Quranic education system that operates on a followed but unwritten syllabus.
If you look at the history of Majalis education, from narrations, it went back as far back to the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because this is the form of education he introduced in Mecca. It is not conventional like organized form of learning like that of the convention, like tables, chairs, and those sort of things. They would sit and then they would learn from the scholar. And it could be multi-grading, because you would have learners of different learning levels. You would have some maybe at the introduction, others would be at a higher level, but the same Marabu or scholar would be responsible of their educational affairs.
Traditionally, students attending Majlis are not taught on how to read or write in the English language, and yet they constitute 8 to 10% of children that are considered to be out of the formal education system.
Somewhere around 2008, 2009, when education sector had this survey on finding out children of school going age, how many of them are really in the conventional and how many of them are not, and why, where. And I think the survey results indicated that in some regions up to 8% or even 9% or so 10% were. So I think the region that had the lowest GER, gross enrollment rate, was Central River region.
In a bid to provide access to basic education for all children in the Gambia, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, in partnership with the World Bank and Global Partnership for Education and the Institute for Social Reformation and Action, ISRA, started an initiative in 2012 to support the integration of the teaching of literacy and numeracy in the Majalis, also known as Daras, while providing cash transfers to Marabus on the condition that basic English language and mathematics will be delivered in these centers. This initiative is called the Conditional Caste Transfer Program.
The government as a state is also part of other international conventions. For example, Education for All initiative. So these are sort of diversification or a sort of an alternative form of education which we are trying to include in their mainstreaming. Because before the introduction of this conditional caste transfer program, the students who are learning in this system are generally regarded as out-of-school going children because they are not captured in our main education system, the image, we are not capturing them. So, and they are prominent in very deprived areas like Region 5 and Region 6, where our gross enrollment ratio is very, very low. So, because of that, and the aim of the ministry is to try to achieve something in relation to education for all.
We started this program 3 years back, okay? When we started the program, the ISRA is an NGO. They have partnership with ministry. They are the one who initiate this program, okay? They made a survey that they have seen that many of these talibes, after completing their Quranic memorization school, they cannot read, they either write, okay? And to carry out their daily activities is very difficult. So they come up with this initiation that they should take facilitators to this center so that they could help these talibes at the end of their studies so that they'll be able to read and write and recognize numbers. The Majalis setting and the conventional school setting is different. The Majalis settings, you see them now, they are sitting in a floor, okay? That's where they sit down and read. In the other sector is different.
Established over 450 years ago with the objective of teaching Islamic religious duties, Quranic memorization, and to instill moral values in Taliban, Majlis Imam Seku Kante, located in Kiang Masembe, in the Kiang East District of the Lower River Region, is one of the 17 Majalis centers benefiting from the Conditional Caste Transfer Program.
Ibrahim Bayoldi be Masembe Darolto Garamomu Sek Kandeleti Talibo Membijang Adada mo Keme mo Tansai and mo Konondo yo be Sabatrin Jambe Karana Janne Tuau Karanto Kamen Karanje wala mu tolli ani sawnol anin ka chekiroke tubabu kawno yo fana Kenya yitan dum wala
MAM Imam INK Inc I
malu ko man sona lolu man boro ani ladu ko because na bunu bi janne jamal bi men mom pare.
The Islamic Institute for Reformation and Action, ISRA, is the NGO working with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to promote the teaching of basic literacy and numeracy to Talibans.
This is a tree. This is a tree. This is a boy. This is a boy.
The executive director of ISRA explains the role of his NGO in this process.
ISRA was asked to select some majalis. I think we started with 12 nationally, and we selected 12. In those days, a total of close to 1,200 Taliban children. And the agreement we signed an MOU with the ministry, ISRA, and then in turn, ISRA signed an MOU with the Marabous, so that the MOU with them is that the Taliban children must be accessed by literacy numeracy facilitators minimum 10 hours a week. And this would be their days when they don't have their classes, Thursday, Fridays mainly, 5 hours Thursday and 5 hours Friday, minimum, could be more. And also that, ISRA, through the ministry, will provide them with $100 per Taliban per month support, maintenance support. That these children must not be seen in the streets begging, that they must be given at least a square meal, 3 square meals a day. And that's actually where we started. And of course, education was mainly interested in the literacy component, and also providing solar lamps for their night classes and so on.
Founded in 2005, Taiba Boarding School, located in Old Joswan, is the only Tahfiz or Quranic memorization center benefiting from the conditional caste transfer program.
Here is Taiba Boarding School for Quranic Memorization and Islamic Study. This school was established at 2005. Right now we are having 77 students. They all stay here, learn here, eat here, everything, they do it here in the school. We joined the MAJALIS modernization